Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to a brand new City Skylines collaboration. I'm here with some friends, Fresh Popcorn and Strict Toaster. Why don't you guys tell us a bit about your YouTube channels and your experience here on YouTube so far?
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Fresh Popcorn. I'm a YouTuber, and I play simulation games just like Fluxtrance and Strict Toaster do. Currently, I only have one series where I'm actually playing a game of City Skylines. You might be familiar with San Miniato. I've been working with it for quite some time, and I'm right in the middle of building the city. So I'm really excited to not only get away from that series and work on this and to kind of expand into like a new theme of City Skylines, but also to be working with Fluxtrance and Strict Toaster.
Awesome. So my name is Strict Toaster. Some of you may know me from my Cedar Valley City Skylines series, but I've been putting out videos for a couple of years. In fact, I've already done a collaboration with Flux. We did a SimCity 2013 series. It was a really short series, I think. It was called Urban Design Lush. You can find the playlist, but I really do not recommend you go look at that playlist. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited to be working with these two guys.
All right, so we kind of came across this idea after Fresh Popcorn went on a road trip. So Fresh, why don't you tell us a bit about the inspiration behind this and how all that went down?
Yeah. So me and one of my buddies decided it would be a great idea to drive across country. So essentially we hopped in a car and drove to California. And basically on the way there, I hit up Strict on Twitter and I said, hey man, like I'm going to be right in your area. Like, you know, if you want to sit down and grab some coffee and talk about stuff, like, you know, it'd be great to just meet another YouTuber, and he was willing to sit down and chat. So we grabbed some lunch, and we just talked about City Skylines and YouTube in general. And it was really nice to be able to talk to someone else about, you know, YouTube. And it's really hard to talk about like City Skylines and stuff like that in real life because it's, you know, obviously with Strict and you Flux too, like you are actively playing this game for viewers. So it was really interesting to get his take on things. And basically, long story short, is that conversation got down to like a collaboration series of like building a city with more than one person. And I said, well, maybe we can get Flux involved, like we can get him in on this kind of project, this idea we had going. And we basically got into a Skype call later that night. And actually, Strict, do you remember that Skype call?
I do remember that Skype call. We were like talking late at night. Mm-hmm. We immediately added Flux into the call, and ideas pretty much started, popping up, and that's pretty much how it all started. And one of the things that we really wanted to do is to like create the whole thing from scratch, like create our own map, create our own theme, and I think Flux has been working pretty hard on what you see over here on the screen right now. It's what Flux has been working on. So maybe tell us a little bit about how that process has been.
Right. So, what you're seeing right now on the screen is what I've been working on for like the past week or so. It's a custom map for our project, as well as we made a custom map theme. We all were in a Skype call for the majority of this, so we were working back and forth and throwing out ideas. And we ended up settling on this sort of like dry, arid theme. I feel like it's not something that's done very often in City Skylines. There's no real default maps or map themes that fit this whole idea. So I thought it'd be a cool project idea. And then, of course, also Fresh Popcorn just did this big road trip through the Midwest. And so he was driving through places like New Mexico, and that all sort of snowballed into this idea of let's do something sort of different, sort of out of our comfort zones to an extent, because I know all of us work with foliage quite a bit and we make these big lush areas. And now we're working with something that's a lot more empty and barren. So it'll be definitely different. But anyway, we're going with this map theme. We're doing these big mountains on the outsides with a big valley in the middle and a little river. And the idea was just to start with something small, do a small town of some sort, and expand from there, see how it goes. But it would give us plenty of room to expand if we decided to do that, and it would also give us plenty of maneuverability and everything. So when we're building things between each other, it's easy to work together on this. So. Of course, all of this is going to be available on the Steam Workshop as well. So as you're seeing this, if you look in the description down below, I'll have the Steam Workshop link to this custom map, as well as the new custom map theme that we made. Everything is custom. The map theme actually includes some pretty cool little tricks and things we did, including using the resources as custom textures. So We've got the oil texture is like a really important one. It's like this blending texture to make these sort of like rocky looking textures over top of the like barren grass. And then we're actually using the fertile natural resource texture as this like brighter grass texture. So if we want to have some actual, lush green grass, we can still have that in this map, even though it's very much so like dry and barren and everything like that. So anyway, it'll all be available down below in the description. But Fresh, why don't you talk to us a bit about what we'll be doing here, building the actual project itself and our plans from there?
Sure, absolutely. Basically, I guess what I'm thinking, and this idea came to me when I was sitting in El Paso, Texas, just looking out over Mexico and parts of New Mexico, and I was basically just sitting there, and I was like, wow, it'd be really cool to like tackle this kind of idea in city skylines. And obviously, you just explained how that kind of snowballed into where we are right now. And some inspiration, I think, all of us will take, and myself in particular, from driving through the mid or southwest rather, for so long, is like this idea of towns that are they kind of exist around like some sort of train junction or some sort of natural resource, like for example, like oil or whatever it may be. And I think it'd be really cool to maybe build a city that is, I guess it's not like, so perfect. I think especially like us three, generally like everything is very like, clean cut, and everything is just like very well planned out, and the networking is really well done. And I think it'd be really interesting to maybe take a step back and approach a city from like, or building a city from a standpoint of like, wow, like maybe this city was started at, like a village built around like, oil, and then, it wasn't perfect, and it didn't have highway access, and it only had like a good rail line and what have you. And like, there's not a lot of water available and all that kind of stuff. And I think it'd be really cool and interesting for the community and the viewers as well to see something that's is more of a story. And that's something I'm interested in the way I present my cities, is like telling a story behind it. And I think that'd be cool to tell a story of a city that like maybe even has some struggles, if that makes any sense. So I think it'd be cool to work around those ideas in terms of like the population, the size of the airport, et cetera, stuff like that. So that's basically what's in my mind. And I think it's going to shine through in the series as we build around those ideas. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Now, Fresh, you brought in a good point. We have very little water in the city, and something that Flux didn't mention is that we don't have any shipping lanes on the city. We only have the only connections from the neighboring cities to this town will be road, rail, and obviously we have some airplane connections that are invisible in the footage that you're seeing. But let me talk to you a little bit about all these assets and mods that we're using, because we're obviously using a lot of non-vanilla elements. It's the list that we put together. So we basically, the way we came up with this is each one of us pretty much picked our favorite assets that would fit in a desert theme. Obviously, most of them were overlapping because we pretty much like many of the same assets.
Right.
And I pretty much combined everything into one big list. And actually, to be honest, this list is not super big compared to our regular series, where we have, in my own city, I have like at least 1,200, maybe 1,300 assets. I think Fresh, you have like 1,600. Yeah, ridiculous. I know.
Yeah, this is a nice break.
But yeah, so even the game loads so much faster, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put all those assets on mods in the same collection, and we pretty much unsubscribe to our regular series collections and subscribe to this every time, and we pass each other the save-in, and that's pretty much how we're doing this collaboration project. We're also one thing that I don't know if we talked about is we're not gonna try to like build or like let me rephrase that. We don't have any rules against like destroying what the other person did, but we're going to try to like keep it intact. We may do modifications if we need to like fit, like a new thing to a previous built thing. But for the most part, we're pretty much have no limitations in terms of our creativity in a way. I know Fresh already told me before we started this recording that he's going to make a road that's slightly off, like by like a half a degree.
It's like 89.9 degrees, and I'm just going to leave it it's going to be so awful, and then I'll fix it eventually.
Eventually, I think maybe someone else will fix it.
Yeah,
but
sprint coaster maybe.
I don't know. Actually, I'm right after you, so maybe I'll fix it. Did we talk about the order in which the episodes will be by any chance?
I think in general we're looking at one episode per week per channel, and what it's going to be is like, we'll have a playlist, and we'll all have the same playlist, and it'll be like, episode 1 will be Flux, episode 2 will be me, Fresh Popcorn, episode 3 will be Strict, and then it'll all be the same playlist, just different creators per video. And then I think we were also discussing perhaps like after every 6 episodes, like maybe doing like
something like that.
maybe like a podcast, like similar to this style episode where we're just like, hey, like sit back, like this is what we built. And then we can even just, be like, hey, like, Flux, I don't like what you did here, or I did like what you did here. And we can just be like really talk about like, and then see like, oh, where do we want to go from here? Like, what story does this city we built, like, what does it have behind it? Like now, like what could it use, and stuff like that. So I think in terms of format, it'll be really cool to have those review episodes in there as well.
Right. Awesome. So just to kind of wrap it up and also explain sort of our plans for how this is all going to be set up and everything, we will, of course, have everything linked down below. So I'm going to almost call it like a mini guide, but it's just going to have everybody's channels. So you can go ahead and subscribe to Fresh Popcorn, subscribe to Strict Toaster. Also, check us out on Twitter, because that's always like a big place for communications between us, especially with City Skylines and all that stuff. So YouTube channels, Twitter, we're also going to have the playlists down below as well. But I'll just have all that stuff like set up so you know how to follow the series. It's going to be kind of confusing, a little bit weird. It's not really something that's super normal. We haven't done, I don't think anyone's really done anything like this with City Skylines yet. So
yeah.
Sort of a weird thing. Yeah, it's kind of like hard to do. We're passing things back and forth, and so as a result, of course, with different channels being involved, it's going to be a bit complicated. But we'll have it all down below so you guys can follow everything as it comes out and all that stuff.
Now, I'm sure at this point, everyone is super pumped about where this series is going. So this is a time where we ask you to like this very video if you're excited about the next one, and that's coming up next week. Please also do share it with the community. We want to get all the community involved as much as we can. Like Flux said, we're going to be pretty active on Twitter. We're going to be posting screenshots, little t-shirts. We're going to be commenting on each other's build too. So there's going to be a lot of like, critics on design going on, I'm sure. Yes. So it's going to be really, really cool if you can join us and also weigh in your thoughts as usual. And actually, that brings me to a good question. Fresh, what do you have in mind for the next episode?
Yeah, so I guess being first in line, obviously I'll receive the map from Flux, obviously empty, with nothing going on besides the infrastructure that's built right now and everything. So I think I usually like to start with some sort of power facility, some sort of services and stuff like that. So I think maybe like a small, very rural community that's maybe built around some sort of like oil plant, maybe a wind farm. I'm not really sure yet. Maybe solar, although I mean that's pretty expensive, so probably not. Just thinking in terms of realism, but I think like a small a village built around like some sort of power would be cool. It seems to be my forte is like smaller communities, so I think I would be comfortable starting with that. Obviously, since Strict, you're going to receive this, so I'm going to want to show you my best work. And that's probably I think that's pretty much where it's going to go. I think that'll be a nice setup for, like, as I touched on this earlier, like expanding the city, from like humble beginnings. Like, okay, this is how it started. Like, it was a small community, and like maybe if we ever like expand a highway later, like it'll have to be built like around this community. Like, we can't just bust it straight through. And I think that'll be really cool. So I guess to answer your question, that's probably where I'll start. But I'm actually interested in where you might take that, Strict, if you would elaborate.
Oh man, I mean, so here's the thing. I have a few ideas on, projects that I want to do throughout the city. I don't know necessarily what I want to do after yours. To be honest, when we pretty much came up with the schedule of me being third, I was kind of relieved so that I could see what you guys were doing before me. I guess Flux made the map, so I would only see like a bit of it based on what Fresh does. But I mean, I can tell you some of the ideas that I think I want to make. So we have that little awesome stretch of freeway there, and I think I was thinking of doing like a rest area, because those are pretty common in this kinds of landscapes. Also, maybe like a weighing station for trucks.
Oh yeah,
could be very nice too. Definitely, this place yells for a really nice rail yard, and maybe
absolutely.
At the same time it was like some sort of mining town, like way back when, like during the gold rush or some. I don't know. I guess at this point I also need to think about the history too behind this. But that's kind of what I have in mind. Now, what I'm wondering is what Flux would come up with.
Yeah. So now we're looking like 3 episodes into the future. I think. honestly, I really, and I think this is like the beauty of this whole idea and this concept of doing like a collaboration series. I really just want to see what you guys do and try to like, for once just like sit back and try and make something that already exists like look better or expand on it. So really, I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow. Maybe start. I mean, I think we'll probably be at this point going towards beginning the beginnings of like the main part of the city or something or town, whatever you're gonna call it.
Sure.
So we might be expanding there, putting some suburbs in and stuff, but. I'm pretty excited to start this project. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I know just like making this map while we were making the map, we've been all talking.
We were
on
all so
Skype,
excited.
And, oh my god, we're so excited! I mean, just like getting the LUT to look good, getting the map theme to look good.
Backflips over textures.
Oh man, yeah, all the new textures look fantastic, and you're seeing them right now, but you really won't see them in detail until the end when we have some cinematic shots and stuff. But just all the different variants of the textures, it's going to be really great, and I think it's something that's not been done too much, so it'll be a lot of fun to play around with it and try that stuff out. But anyway, I think that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, this was just like a podcast episode. We'll probably do this again at some point, but in the meantime, we'll be going on to Fresh's channel next time, and you can see the next episode there. Of course, you can follow the playlist in the description to see all of these things as they come. But yeah, any final words, guys?
For me, I really just want to get my hands on this map right away. Start building. I might even start building on my own, like a separate saving. Not really. I'm gonna wait for Fresh's video, but man, yeah, just can't wait to get started. Really, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and I guess for me, my last words are that I'm just really pumped to be here. I guess me being a relatively newer YouTuber, I used to watch Flux U way back in the day when Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 building the Mega Park. I think I watched every episode of that, and Strict, I watched Cedar Valley like way in the beginning. So I've been following you guys for a while, and it's just surreal to be here like doing a project with you, and it's an honor to be building with you guys and to be doing this for the community. So that's basically all I have to say.
Awesome. All right. Well, like I said earlier, guys, links in the description down below for anything we've talked about, all the different collections and the custom map, the map themes, the channels, our Twitter links, all that good stuff. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.